Yep.
All right, hello. So
Hello,
today we are
hello.
reviewing. Oh shoot, who was this requested by? Damn it! This was we were reviewing Jagged Peak Adventure requested by.
Is it a phrasable?
It might have been. I'm gonna look it up.
Uh, if you're still around, a phrasable.
Like
Sorry, we got to it
a million
finally.
years later. No, it's not in
Uh,
that. Oh yes, it is in this section. Okay, here it is. Who requested it? Where is it? I can't find it. I don't know who requested this.
I don't know.
Oh man. I have no idea. Well,
We got to it
like a million
finally.
years later. Why is this? Where's? No, it's not in
Uh,
that. Oh yes, it is in this section. Okay, here it is. All right. Well, requested by somebody at some point that I do not remember anymore.
uh,
Uh, a long time ago, and by a long
uh,
time I mean like a year ago.
uh, Golden comment on Jagged Peak Adventure by Colonel Sanders. WTF, this was almost 10 years ago. I used to play this in IT lessons at school all the time. Fuck you, Mr. Barrett.
I think that's a review right there.
Yep. Also, Peter Parker a year ago. What the hell I'm doing here? Uh,
Should we just watch it and then talk about stuff, or we could talk about the history first? Why not? Let's do that.
I
So
mean,
this
okay,
has.
so I don't know that much of the history, so this is going to be story time with
All
Rabbit
right, well
here.
here we go. It's 11. It has 11 million views, but the biggest reason it has 11 million views is because this was uploaded in October 19th, 2006, right?
Yeah.
Beta 2 came out in December 2006.
Yeah,
So
and this was
that's the
made with
big that's the
pre-beta
kicker
too.
here. So this is a yeah, he says made with pre-beta 2, but at the time, here I'm going to go to our archive page here. All this says is a scenic trip through the magical world of Line Rider. No, you can't get this version of Line Rider. Don't ask. Stop asking what the song is. It's only been mentioned in the comments a few dozen times. So, like, this was before Beta 2. So initially, a lot of the people were like, it was a huge deal that first of all anyone could make something like this in Line Rider. But the reason was, if you look at the top, there is an
Yeah,
eraser up there, but there's not a straight line tool. But there is an eraser, so he can use he uses the pencil,
and a zoom tool,
and he can use the zoom
and a
tool.
flag tool.
And a flag tool. So he has pencil, he has eraser, he has zoom, and he has flag, but no straight line. And presumably a lot of not other like tools he doesn't have. Like there are no line types. It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
See, he has the pencil selected, but there's no colors, which means
Mhm.
there's no acceleration lines, there's no scenery lines. So the interesting thing about this is created entirely with blue lines, but there's no visual on which side is blue. He just had to
Yeah,
draw them a specific way and then remember. So it's like it's
amazing.
really cool because one of the interesting things about this track is that means that he didn't add the scenery later. He created the track and the scenery at the same time as he went, because
That's
that's the only way you
amazing.
could do it if all you had was blue lines. So anyway, so those are all really interesting things. But yeah, so a lot of the initial thing was like, because of the power of the eraser tool, he was able to make this huge world, and then like if he didn't, like he Bosch crashed or something, he just erased that and try again, you know.
Hmm.
And he had a flag, so he could actually like track him instead of having to play the track from the beginning every time, you know. There wasn't a flag in the original beta, was there? So you'd have to play the track from the beginning every time, which is like hard and time consuming.
Hmm.
um,
I'm ready.
all right, let's go. 3, 2, 1, go.
So I only discovered Cowboy Bebop years. Oh shoot, I'm on quarter speed. Started from the beginning.
Okay. Well, while we're starting from the beginning, I can talk about this beginning because the first couple seconds I think brilliantly set up the concept of Line Rider if someone isn't familiar with it. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So he has the pencil tool, he goes over to the play button, he hits the play button, and then you see the guy drop onto the line and ride down it. And you're like, oh, that's what Line Rider is. He drew this with the pencil, and then he hit a play button, you know? And it's brilliant in how quickly it conveys that to the viewer, you know? And I think it was unintentional. Is the funny thing. But,
I think it's time we blow this thing.
Anyway.
Get everybody in the stuff together.
Oh, man.
The other thing is that
Okay,
a lot of the
3,
tricks
2,
he's
1,
doing
let's go.
here are like things that like, if you were an actual sledder going down a hill, it would be like awesome, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it literally just feels like he's just sledding down a mountain, you know? Like that little jump on the bridge, it's like he got some air on the bridge, you know?
Yeah, the genius is that it feels like he's doing tricks in a world without the world being specifically set up for him to do tricks. It's the same.
And then this was like and then that's like a super intense moment where he like there's a waterfall and he goes super fast, you know?
Yeah. The brilliance is that is the same as like when you watch a video of like a snowboarder going through like a giant mountain city and like sledding down through the streets. They weren't made for snowboarding, but he's doing it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You want to just watch it again?
Yes.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So I think that is the thing, is that like most of the track blends into the scenery, which is something that a lot of even tracks much later have a really hard time with, is making the scenery and the track fit together. Like the little manual down the side of the house doesn't look like it was made for that. It looks like he just like the guy is just going onto the house, you know, and it's like, oh, awesome, he's going down the house, you know.
Okay,
it doesn't
3,
feel like
2, 1, let's jam.
It doesn't feel like you know, the scenery of the house is trying to like constrain itself to the track, you know.
Yeah, it's not like they saw this. They thought, oh, a track line, and then did that. It was, and that's, I think, another consequence of creating it at the same time.
Yeah. I think this is the part where I shake my fist at Tech Dog, because I think Tech Dog's later tracks, it's actually discarded was probably the turning point where he made the track had discarded before he made the scenery, and then follow up by Monumental, which is like, obviously some of that scenery was added on afterward, you know, and that became the big thing that everyone was doing, is you make the track first and then you make the scenery. And we kind of lost the sort of magical quality of like having a little guy go through a world. Let's just watch it again.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Because this track, it's like it's very clear that there's a little guy going through a world, you know, and the world is not trying to show off like, look at how good this person is at drawing the world. It's just a world, and it's just fun to watch the guys go through it, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's time we blow this scene. Get everybody
I think
in the
it's
stuff together.
a product
Okay,
of
3, 2,
not
1,
necessarily
let's jam.
wanting to impress, but it's impressive in spite of that.
Yeah,
Like-
it's
Like, he could have spent an agonizing amount of detail on this, but he didn't.
And the thing is that doesn't really hurt it that much, you know? It's still fun just to watch him go through this world, and the world is not terribly well drawn, but that doesn't mean that it's not fun to watch him go through it, you know?
Yeah, and like structurally, it's such an interesting world too.
And so I think that when we try to make when we focus so much on the detail of tracks and how good the artwork is or how good the tricks that he's doing are, we lose the idea of that was like presented so well in this track, which is of having just a world that he travels through, and that's what's most fun about Line Rider for the casual viewer. Do you want to watch it at quarter speed?
Yeah, why not?
All right, let's do it.
There's not a lot to analyze. Look at this rock.
We can talk about. Actually, there is, but it'll go by slower. We can talk about more specific things.
Okay. There's a lot to analyze, but not like in his motion necessarily.
The rotational flow is off the charts, man.
Dude, hecka true.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
I like the idea of just dropping him there. It is very like it feels how Line Rider felt to me when I started making. You know, drop him down. There he is, and that's what a lot of people do with Line Rider. Is their first thing they make a slope and see if it works, and then from there it just explodes into this, I think he does a good job with like a sense of scale. He establishes that there are like mountains in the background. He's coming down from the previous mountains into these sort of like smaller foothills, and then you see the cabin and you're like, okay, we have come down from the jagged peak. What is below?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, there's a house. We're at like ground level now. And so there's this sense of like scale. You've come from the top of a mountain all the way down.
For me, I think this nose manual on the side of the house is iconic, and I think it's what set off the whole idea. Well, maybe not all of them, but like it was one of the defining things that got people to try to figure out how to do nose manuals themselves, you know?
Yeah.
But the thing about the nose manual on the house is that it's like if you make a nose manual loop, it's clear that you are doing the track maker, are creating the trick. Whereas if you have Bosch nose manualing down the side of a house like that, Bosch is the one doing the trick there. You're not like, oh, what a cool trick Unconed made. You're like, oh, what a cool trick Bosch did, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the genius of it. And then I also want to highlight what I think is my favorite part of how clearly it feels like Bosch is doing the trick, which is this little fakey flip, right? Right?
Right. He hits it and he's like,
here.
Backflip.
It's like, backflip over the chasm. You know, it's like, that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like you're like, it doesn't feel like it's like, what a cool backflip Unconed made. It's like, what a cool backflip that Bosch did, you know? Yeah. And it's like, the track that, like, yes, the track made him do that backflip.
And this part.
But it's,
like,
that's sort
if you were experiencing, if you were experiencing this bit in real life, you'd be like, oh shit, because he like hits it with the front of his sled, he tips it, it's very like Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is that like modern Manuquark tracks, like you can't imagine doing that yourself, you know? You can't. It's impossible to imagine being the guy doing those tricks. But then like here, like look at that big air on the bridge, you know, like. It feels like Tony Hawk is a great word to use. It feels like he's doing like Tony Hawk Pro skateboarding stuff here, you know?
Yeah. And then you can see that little division where he like went through.
Yeah. Some very sneaky and clever ways of making the track lines be, you know, he passes through them.
And then like in a cave system, people are always like, man, what if you could like sled in a cave system? And it's like, what the shit? This guy's doing it. The absolute madman, and it feels like, it feels like a natural cave, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing is, see that curve there, and how it mirrors the curve on the opposite side and the curve below it.
It feels like stalactite-y.
It feels like, oh, this is like he's just sledding through a cave. It's not like, oh, here's the track and then here's the cave scenery. You know, there's no separation. The scenery blends in perfectly, however badly drawn, blends in perfectly with the track to the point where you don't really see the track. Like, if someone took a picture of Jagged Peak Adventure, you would have a hard time saying, this is the track and this is the scenery, you know? And that's what's so brilliant about it. And that's something that I've been pushing for years, is, like, blending the track into the scenery, you know?
Yeah. Oh, and then the waterfall bit, that's such a rush.
I have to admit that when I first saw it, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was a
waterfall. Oh, yeah.
It was, so... There's my critique of Jagged Peak Adventure: is the waterfall sucks. Make it look like an actual waterfall. The waterfalls are hard though. Have you ever tried to draw a waterfall in Line Rider? I have. It's hard.
I've watched you try to make a waterfall in Line Rider. It's hard.
I think I've tried to draw waterfall 2 or 3 times. It's never worked out very well. Another thing is something that's really interesting and great about the track is that the opening is 1 second and then you're into the track, you know? And the ending, you have the title and the author. Just like, boom, here it is, and then it's done. And I think we're sort of starting to get back to that a little bit, where it's like maybe a little intro, but then mostly it's just intro and then track. And then at the end, it's like, okay, and now here's all the stuff that we're crediting, you know?
Yeah.
Because for a while, it was like, dramatic intro, dramatic intro, dramatic intro, dramatic intro, track, credits, you know? And people would have like a 5-minute video for a 1-minute track, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
and then it would like play sad piano music for the color replay, and it would be like, here are all the inspirations. Thank you for inspiring me over the years.
And I think a lot of that comes from a lot of different things, and you know, I'm certainly guilty of that, and I tried out a lot of different ways of doing that. But I think that the Jagged Peak approach has a nice elegance to it, and I like that a lot of tracks nowadays are taking that approach. You know, that maybe the intro is part of the track, or maybe the intro is made in Line Rider, or maybe the intro is just really short, and then you get into the track. But yeah. And, you know, total hypocrite here, the guy who made a 2-minute intro to a 1-minute track. But
hell yeah. You know, you can break the rules.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not saying that's a rule that you have to do it this way. It's just something that you should be aware of. You know, how do I want to set this up? Where do I want to put the information about the track, and where do I want to just put the track?
Awareness, my dude. Words have been said. Eclipse has been released. I love that intro just for how like friggin' dramatic it is. Anyway, back to Jagged Peak.
Should we watch the track once and just go, oh, every time he does something we like?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. No words permitted except oh. All right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh wait, we should.
Oh wait. Yeah,
speed,
gotta get out of full speed. Hold on.
All right.
We had the same problem at the same time. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh! Oh man.
Oh!
No, I'm not gonna do this.
Oh! Oh!
I'm gonna be a little more articulate. This moment. This is so good. It's so good. And then the log. It's writing inside objects, but it's good. It's good writing inside objects.
But he's in the log.
He's inside the log so that you can see it.
It's not writing inside an object. If it was a rock, it would be. Oh!
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. And then I love this part because it's like an air and it like lingers and then he's like bam. Woo! And then he flips down onto this road. You see a helicopter pad. You're like, oh shit! And then he's on the bridge. And then see ya. We're taking a path less traveled into the cave.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. I forgot how much I like this track. And then he's through this, and it's like, waterfall.
Oh snap! Oh snap! Oh snap!
And then everyone was like, massive. That was ludicrous speed for 2006.
2006?
That was ludicrous speed.
Die at the slopes level madness.
Oh.
All right, that was fun.
That was good.
All right, so in conclusion, Jagged Peak is great, and we can learn so much from it.
Making tracks in the future.
What?
Hey, Unconed, if you're making some tracks in the future, here are some things you can do. Make sure
Unconed, if you ever make more tracks, here's some tips.
Get ready. I'm going to review this like it's a new community member.
Go ahead.
All right. So you did some pretty cool things here. I like how you did the movement and stuff. Here's what you need to do, though. Make sure your wells are stronger and your manuals are smoother. You want to make sure you're as
Learn how to work.
Precise as possible. Maybe add some gravity wells. Also, the scenery
go ahead.
Very sparse. You should just add as much detail.
Add as much detail as you possibly can. More manuals. Disregard the track. Make lots of manuals. disregard physics, make lots of quirks. Add,
Yeah, man.
like, make it longer. Add a really dramatic intro.
Dude, you can set it up with a crazy intro. Words have been said. Line Rider Urban Run has been released.
Also, you need to thank all your inspirations in the credits.
Oh, I do that. I do that.
I do that too. It's okay.
Uh,
Also, we should probably keep in mind that I think he made this track in like 2 days.
That's amazing. That's
So-
amazing.
Well, that's the thing is that I think like we somewhere along the line we got this idea that like the more work you put into a track, the more worthy it is of watching, and that's not true.
Hey man, I spent like a week on that octopus, and I'm not gonna
See,
let
that's
go.
the thing. It's hard for us to let go of that, you know.
I'm not. I'm not gonna let go of that one. Otherwise, it
See,
would
that's the
feel
thing.
like
I think it's
wasted-
impossible for a lot of people to let go of that. So it's
Because,
like because
because
it's like it's so hard to be like I spent hundreds of hours on this thing, you know, and like I mean, so many people have struggled with this, and I think the very people who struggle with it are the people that other people look up to and say, "I'm going to be just like them," which is a very very bitter irony, you know. So I don't know. My 2 cents.
Anyway, yeah, Jagged Peak Adventure. It's a good track, you guys.
It's a good track, and we should make more like scenery tracks that get back to what was actually interesting about Line Runner, which is making Bosch do tricks instead of you do tricks, and making the scenery blend into the track, and like just making it and getting it out there and not spending a million years adding detail.
Yeah,
So,
all of these things.
I'm actually kind of inspired to do that myself now, except I don't have any ideas that would be original. So maybe I'll keep
Towers.
thinking on it.
Towers.
Oh yeah, that's that's a good idea.
Towers.
We should do
yeah.
something like that. Anyway,
So-
that's a project that we're
Yeah.
talking about. That's nothing here.
Anyway,
that's done. That's another review. That's a review.
right.
We're done with the
All right.
review.
All right, cool.
Also, I
See
will be
ya.
posting a comment on Jagged Peak Adventure saying that we did a quick review, and people can check it out, just like I do for all the other videos. So,
Unconed.
all right. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Another
We're
comment.
quick reviews. I'm Rabbit Squirrel. This is OTDE. We never do this, but maybe more people might see this review because I'm going to post it as a comment on Jagged Peak Adventure. Whatever. Bye!
Somebody said, nostalgia, anyone? And then another person said, same. I was like 6 years old when this came out. Holy shit. That person is almost 17 now.
Wow.
That person is almost 17.
That's actually terrifying. All right. For the record, I was like 14 when this came out. Whatever.
Yeah.
No, I was younger than that. Holy crap. I'm 24.
I was 10, I think.
All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.